All right, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Real Madrid fan channel. So today we'll be talking about the press conference before tomorrow's game um, of the Club World Cup final. So I'm hoping that we win this one. We've already won. I believe it was three or four so far. I think it was. We think we won three so far. So hopefully tomorrow we'll win a fourth one, and yeah, hopefully it goes well. You just never know. I don't know our opponents that much. Al Ain, I'm not very familiar with them. But if they've made it this far, it's because they're probably a decent opponent, and we can never underestimate our opponents. So yeah, I'll be talking about that. I'll be talking about the press conference, what they talked about. So first of all, I'll talk about Solari, what he talked about in his press conference. So Solari, he just said that we have to respect our opponents, since they did have to beat a lot of teams to get to where they're at right now, which is the final of the Club World Cup. To get there, you do have to beat quite a bit of teams. So obviously, Al Ain, they beat quite a bit of teams. That's why they're there, and we have to show them that respect. Nevertheless, the best football, it remains in Europe. So that is the highest level of football in probably the whole world. But you just never know. Surprises can happen. And Solari also talked about Isco. In respect to everyone, he said that Isco was training well, that he was doing well. Didn't have any problems with Isco. So I think it's just the media spurring this up, trying to make a story out of nothing. That Isco's fat, that Isco's this, that Isco's that. I don't think there's anything really wrong with Isco at the moment. I think it's just the media trying to make stories up. And he also talked about the high level of achievement that Real Madrid have put up over the past 3 years, with their Champions League titles, with all their titles pretty much, and that it's a very big achievement, and he really talked it up, So he didn't want to put the expectations too high. He really tried to talk up those achievements because obviously 3 Champions League in 3 years is never seen before. So he did talk it up, and obviously he said he'll try to do the same thing tomorrow to continue the legacy of Real Madrid, of their winning ways. And yeah, there was a one of the journalists that also asked about why Real Madrid are always favorites in these kinds of matches, and Solari kind of responded that they're always favorites because they always seem to be concentrated in the finals, very focused, physically, mentally, in every aspect. They're always concentrated in these finals, and that's what makes them such a great team. So I talked about that, and he talked about a few other things also. He talked about Bale's hat trick, obviously, the other day. He gave credit to Gareth Bale. He said that he had a really good game. He did all the duties he needed to do, and obviously the 3 goals, which was very good. And so yeah, he really gave credit to Gareth Bale. And then one thing he did do was he did talk down Marcelo, I guess, not in a bad way, but kind of in maybe not the best way, I guess. What he said was that we're currently not seeing the best version of Marcelo. That hopefully he can perform even better in the final. And that's kind of what he said. So he also said that he needs to put in more effort and he needs to defend better. Which obviously I think the whole fan base knows that Marcelo is not very, very defensive, and he even said it. And Solari even said in the press conference that Marcelo is not a. It's hard to tell Marcelo to be defensive, because he's just not defensive minded. And the thing with Marcelo is Um, he, he's not really a defender for me. I've never seen him like that. Um, you could say to some extent he's more of a left wing back. Um, so he'll push forward a lot and he'll only defend when it's necessary. Um, and yeah, obviously some coaches have seen that with Marcelo because at the beginning of his Real Madrid career, he started off in the left wing. I mean, he started out probably playing left back. Everyone called him the next Roberto Carlos. He started out playing left back. Then some coaches started playing him left wing, and he stayed left wing. I would say maybe a year and a half or something like that, and he was very much used as a left wing, and he even topped the assist charts in 2009 2010, and he even said it from his own words. So he said this in 2010, I believe. He said that I like to play better as a winger. So that was coming out from his own mouth. So there you go. I mean, this Marcelo is obviously a winger. He just plays in the left back position because we had Ronaldo at the left wing position. That's it, you know. And yeah, even when Coach Juan de Ramos was there in 09-10, he said Marcelo's future would be as a winger, pushing back to defense when required. So those were the words of his coach in 09-10. So obviously Marcelo is not a defensive player. He's forward. He's going forward all the time. So sometimes it can be quite difficult for a coach, and I kind of understand Solari in this. It can be difficult for a coach because the balance of the defense is not quite there because you have one defender that's pushing up two forward, and then only three defenders at the back more times than not. So I mean, obviously Ramos, Varane, they all got used to that. But it could be quite difficult, especially when you play tough opponents. You will get caught out sometimes, and maybe that's what Solari sees. He sees that there's not as much balance, and Marcelo being up there kind of wreaks havoc in that defensive area. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Marcelo. You know, maybe he's gonna be more defensive. I have no idea. But you know, all coaches before him seemed to like him. They obviously said the same thing. I mean, Mourinho had coin trial. He was playing coin trial more towards in 2013 than Marcelo. So obviously, a lot of coaches have seen this kind of not problem, maybe qualm, niggle, just a little problem, I guess, with Marcelo, that he's very offensive. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, this coach is new, and he still has to learn how the defense works, how Marcelo works, things like that. And then there was also a journalist who asked about Asensio, about the substitution of Asensio, and that it should be blamed. Should it be blamed on the manager, or who should it be blamed on? And I thought that was a really good question, actually, because I had the same question. I couldn't understand the substitution that was made with Asensio for Gareth Bale, because Asensio got injured 15 minutes later and he had to be subbed off, you know, and he only played for 15 minutes as a sub. It's not very good management, you know, and it is the coach's fault. Obviously the coach didn't take the L. Coach said he was fine at the beginning, and he just got injured, and that's that. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but you know, even I knew Marco Asensio wasn't fine, you know, and I was surprised to see him on pitch. So hopefully he'll learn from that. You know, just a little mistake. All right, and the next thing I want to talk about is Sergio Ramos press conference as well. He was there also answering questions of the press, and he had high praise for Isco. He said that Isco is doing well. He said that the thing with Real Madrid is it's always a hard team to always play for, to break through. You know, you always have to be at the top of your level, and you know, you slack off just a little bit, and you have other players that are, you know, just as good. You know, who are competing for the same places. Everyone has their ups and downs, and I think that's what he was trying to get at with Isco. So probably Isco is just going through a bit of a downtime, and he'll come back up. So I think it's just a little lapse of downtime or of him not playing that much. But I think Isco will come back just fine. I'm not very worried. I know there's a lot of transfer rumors of Isco, but I'm not worried about him. I think Isco will stay, at least for another half a season. If the next half a season obviously doesn't do good, then I think he might have a good chance of leaving. But so far, I have a feeling he'll stay. It's just too short the amount of time that there it hasn't been going well. So just this past summer, things were going. You could say there was still a euphoric kind of feeling around Real Madrid. Before the departure of Zidane and Ronaldo, there was still a wow, we're doing good and all this, and all of a sudden Zidane goes, Ronaldo goes. Yeah, it is a little harder now, but we just have to adapt to it, and I think that period has been kind of short. I think we have to see a full year to see what goes on in the team and the club. So yeah. Also, what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah. So Ramos, the one of the journalists asked Ramos about Mourinho, and he got kind of not mad, but he got kind of fussed up because Mourinho's been gone for 5 years, and these journalists still talk about him, and I think with good reason. I mean, there's been a lot of links to Mourinho, and I don't think they are fake. I think some of them are real. So he's just asking a question, and I know Sergio Ramos got a little bit irritated, which I do understand. You can't ask those kind of questions at a press conference. It's not very it's kind of rude to the current manager. So that's what Ramos was pointing at, that it's kind of rude to the current manager who's managing the squad to talk about other coaches. It's not the right time for it. Obviously, we do want answers from that, but at a press conference, yeah, it's kind of iffy. But anyway, and he also talked about how we got to treat our opponents with respect because they have beaten a lot of teams to get where they're at. And if Ramos wins the final tomorrow, he'll be the player with the most titles in Real Madrid history. So that's a big feat, also. I mean, to be the player with the most titles in the history of Real Madrid is quite a big feat for a defender that's not very good, apparently, by some of these. How can I say it? By the media or by fans from other clubs. It's true. I have my little how can I say it? Ramos is a controversial player, and that doesn't hide the fact that he is a good player, but he is controversial. And I can admit that. Ramos is not always right. His tackles can be very, very, very rash. Especially with Messi. He has a lot of trouble defending against Messi. He has gotten really bad red cards. We all know that. But to be a player who wins the most trophies in probably the biggest club in the world, he's got to have some talent. He's got to have something special, and Ramos is a special player. I think it's his personality. I just think it's his personality, his mentality. It's just very in tune with Real Madrid and its values. So that's pretty much all I have to talk about. That's the overall summary of the press conference. And hopefully we win tomorrow. I will try to come up with a match reaction tomorrow. Not sure if I will, but I will try. And yeah, overall, should win this comfortably. My prediction, I don't think we're gonna scrape it. I think it's gonna be a little bit more. It's just I'm not sure of the other team. I don't know how the other team played too much. Um, I don't know much of the other team. I wish I would have done my research more. It's not going to be easy, that's for sure. I think it's going to be 4-2. That's my prediction. 4-2 for Real Madrid. I don't think we're going to manage a clean sheet. But I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win by a couple goals. And also, I forgot about the starting lineup. So, starting lineup, I think it's going to be pretty much the same as usual. It's going to be Courtois in goal. I wish it was Navas. I don't understand this coach. I don't understand why he always plays Courtois, and it frustrates me. But, Courtois has been winning me over slowly. Hopefully he wins me over more. Because it just, I just wish Navas could play. We've just mistreated goalies so badly these past few, these past few years with Casillas, been treated horribly. Diego Lopez, to some extent. And it hasn't gone good. So I hope Keylor Navas gets more respect. And, I just hope he gets more respect. But anyway, I think Courtois is going to be in goal. I think Carvajal is going to be on the right back. Varane's going to be on the right center back. Sergio Ramos left center back, and at the left back, Marcelo, obviously. In the midfield, I think it's going to be Marcos Llorente, just because he is match fit. He has played quite a few games over this past season. But there's a possibility that Casemiro might start. I think he will go with Marcos Llorente, just because he has more faith in him. And then he will go with Modric and Cruz in the midfield, obviously. And in the forward positions, he will go with Benzema in the middle. And on the left-hand side, he will go with Gareth Bale. On the right-hand side, I think it'll be Lucas Vazquez again. Lucas Vazquez has been playing pretty good. So, yeah, I think it's going to be Lucas Vazquez. So that's my predicted starting lineup. And I hope we win tomorrow. I think it's going to be 4-2. Be on the lookout for that. I haven't predicted them right all the time. But I have a good feeling it's going to be 4-2. So, yeah. Alright guys, so that's it. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for tomorrow, because I will be putting out that match reaction. And please do subscribe. I do have some subscribers now, so I'm really happy. I'm going to be making more videos because I really want this channel to grow. And I know it'll take some time, but I have a good feeling that it'll grow even more. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And just comment on the video to let me know what the score line is, and who's gonna score, things like that. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and see you guys tomorrow.